everybody, so we've got a fun one today because we're talking about the third and final season of Love, Victor. Ever since it was announced that the third season would be the final one, I've been a little bit torn because I do love this show so much and I don't want it to end. But on the other hand, 3 seasons is a good amount of time. You don't want to go on for too long. You don't want to be on for forever because a lot of the time there's shows that go on for very long. They never maintain that level of quality. So I think 3 seasons is pretty good. It's also cool that we're getting this on Disney Plus now and it's not going to just be on Hulu. In season 3 of Love, Victor, we find Victor going on a journey of self-discovery, not just deciding who he wants to be with, but also who he wants to be. With everyone's post-high school plans looming, all of our characters are faced with a new set of problems that they must work through to make the best choices for their futures. It's been quite a journey with all these characters throughout all 3 seasons. The show has done such a great job weaving together all these different characters and their stories in such a mature, authentic fashion, and that's really no different here in season 3. Season 3 probably is the most mature season out of all 3, as they are approaching the end of high school, so each of them are faced with these tough life decisions about their future and who they want to be, and if they want to still be with these people after high school, which is something that is very relatable because, high school relationships, we know a lot of them don't really last forever, but it feels like in the moment they do. Seeing as how the majority of the cast this season is in some sort of relationship, you can imagine there's going to be a lot of relationship drama this season. Obviously, the big one to focus on is all of the drama, the roller coaster between Victor and Benji, as all of the stuff between Victor and Benji hit some very interesting snags along the way in season 3. This season of Love, Victor is definitely the one where their two's feelings for one another are put through the hardest tests and obstacles, because we do get a little bit more of Benji's backstory that we kind of hinted at in season 2, but we explore a lot of the more dark sides of his character in this season, as he spends a lot of the season kind of coming and going as he pleases, and it becomes kind of frustrating at a point because it is a very hot and cold kind of situation, and it's certainly something that you see Victor struggle with as the season goes on, whether or not he wants to try and actually make things work with Benji, or if he wants to just move on entirely. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how everyone feels about where their relationship ends up by the end of season 3. The season isn't solely focused on their relationship because we explore a lot of the other budding relationships that we saw kind of set up at the end of season 2, whether it be Felix and Pilar getting together, more of Mia and Andrew, and we also get to see Lake exploring her sexuality with Lucy as Lucy gets a much bigger role in season 3, and each of them have very interesting stuff that they bring to the table that's a little bit different, which is something that I like about season 3. As you can imagine, it is kind of a struggle to juggle all these different relationships, but I do think that season 3 does a great job keeping you on your toes about each and every one of them and kind of giving them all some sort of balance, because I really didn't know by the end if all these relationships really would last. I do think a lot of that unpredictability, though, did add some fun to the experience, because there are still plenty of genuinely fun, cute, and even steamy moments between all these different characters, but there are many moments where you get very emotional because of the fact you're so invested in all of these relationships, and you really don't want any of them to potentially end, and you don't really know until the very end of the season if any of them are really going to work out, which I think is a great job with the writing. There certainly are some relationships in season 3 that I was rooting for to work out a little bit more than others, but I don't want to detail which ones I'm rooting for more because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. But Victor has always been such a great character in my opinion, and it's even better in this season as we do see him truly come into his own. We see so much maturity and growth in his character all throughout season 3 because of the fact that he's trying to figure everything out on his own. He's not trying to get advice from Simon all the time, even though there are so many unexpected curveballs thrown his way in season 3 that I definitely think you could have seen in previous seasons him trying to get advice from Simon about. Some of the things this season that we see Victor tackle on his own are kind of surprising. We do see him tackle dating apps. We also still, of course, continue to see the struggles between him and Benji, but we also see him kind of indulge in hookup culture as we introduce another character into the mix, a guy named Nick, who brings his own fair share of problems into the show, which, I don't think a lot of people are going to like Nick after watching season 3. I certainly wasn't a big fan of Nick whenever we see him interact with Victor. I'm sure people will like seeing him visually because people will find him attractive, but personally, out of all the characters we've seen kind of be love interest in the show to Victor, he's probably my least favorite, even though Benji, Raheem, and all them. The actor who portrays Nick does a great job, though. I couldn't pinpoint where exactly I knew him from until I checked IMDb. He was the yellow Ninja Steel Power Ranger many years ago, so that's kind of fun. As for our other characters like Felix and Pilar, I thought their relationship absolutely adorable, but it does have its fair share of fun problems along the way because of the fact that Pilar is hiding their relationship relationship from her parents. Totally relatable, very much in the overbearing parents kind of realm. This is probably the best season as far as development goes for Pilar, because I feel like as the seasons progress, we've gotten to see her develop more and more, and because of this relationship with Felix, we finally get to see a little bit more of her personality and her interest and what she wants to do in the future, and if this relationship really will work for her. Speaking of characters coming into their own, I really like the approach we took for Lake as we see her explore her sexuality. I felt kind of hinted at the very end of season 2, but we do really go full force here, and I think it's done very well and very respectfully as she's kind of trying to navigate those feelings with Lucy, who also gets a much bigger step up and a bigger role here, because last season we didn't really get a whole lot of sense of her character and what she wants and her aspirations, because she kind of was just Andrew's girlfriend. But now that we get this big full-fledged character arc with her and this relationship with Lake, I found myself becoming much more invested in her story and the romance between her and Lake, because Lake has always been such a fun character. Seeing her tackle this new territory in her life was very interesting. There's some great developments here also with her and her mom, stuff like that. And I would say that Mia and Andrew's relationship was probably my least favorite, but not because it was bad or anything. It just feels very adjacent to everything going on because they're kind of doing their own thing a lot of the season. You know, they're traveling to go see her mom, which I thought was a very good storyline for her, and all the stuff revolving around her potentially moving away, as we do see that kind of follow in from season 2. This is definitely the season where Andrew feels the most like an actual friend of Victor and everybody, because he is a much more emotional, sympathetic character here, and he's not like just like a douchey jock character. There are some actual fun dialogue exchanges where he's trying to help Victor out with like his dating profile and many other things along the way without giving too much away. Andrew's just great this season. Mason Gooding has done a great job this season. With there being so many characters in this ensemble, there are some characters that don't get as much focus as I would have liked, one of them being Raheem, because Raheem was a great character in season 2, and he doesn't get as much moments to shine here in season 3. He's still great with the time that he is given on screen. There are a few great scenes with him being forced to interact with Benji that were very entertaining. They're some of my favorite moments with Raheem in probably both seasons. But other than that, and then some of the scenes that involve him, you know, trying to deal with his sexuality with his family, he doesn't really get a whole lot of stuff to do in this season, which is kind of disappointing. And same goes for Victor's parents. We have seen their growth in all 3 seasons of them accepting Victor being gay, but they just don't really get as much focus here. And same with Victor's brother. Victor's brother, I think, only gets like 2 or 3 lines this season. He's very much like a glorified extra, which feels kind of weird. Not gonna lie, I did go into the final episodes a little bit nervous because I wasn't too sure if the finale was actually planned this way or it was forced upon them, you know, because I would hate for this season to end on another cliffhanger and we don't get everything resolved. But I'm happy to say I think that they did a great job with the finale. I was pretty pleased with where we leave things off with our characters. It feels like a satisfactory endpoint for the story as we reminisce on everything we've seen over the course of these 3 seasons with these characters, and the potential where they're going to start off their lives after the season is over. And of course, it's still very emotional seeing these stories come to an end, but if this is the end for these characters, consider me pretty happy. Things are left off in a kind of open-ended way where we could probably continue these characters later on if we really wanted to, kind of in the same vein that we saw Simon return to reprise his role in Love, Victor, because we do see hints of Victor trying to be a Simon to someone else in the show, which I thought was a great touch. But if this is really the end for these characters, you know, bravo. All around, season 3 of Love, Victor is a fantastic conclusion for the series. It does a good job showcasing all of the growth and maturity for these characters as they figure themselves out, while also hitting that balance with its fun, lighthearted storytelling. I had a great time with this final season. It is a little bit emotional, like I said, because it is the final season. There's nothing left after this, but there are so many other great LGBTQ plus shows on nowadays that could kind of carry the torch. For example, Heartstopper just got renewed for 2 more seasons, but I'll still always love and appreciate everything that we saw and love Simon and Love, Victor for what it was. And I'm really excited for you guys to check out this season because it'll be on Hulu and Disney Plus not too long from now, the 15th, I believe. Either way, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What do you think of the 3rd and final season of Love, Victor when you get a chance to check out the season? Do you like the season, not like the season? Share any thoughts and all that stuff down below in the comment section. It's one of the funnest time in the comments with you guys in the comment section down below. Thank you guys, always check out the reviews. I really appreciate that. Make sure to like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So every day, distractions, unboxings, and more. Next time, I'll see you guys later.